Thanks for joining us. And some Ghanaians in South Africa have expressed disgust as comments made by Ghanaian ambassador there, George A.C. Boateng. These persons expressed serious concern about Mr. A.C. Boateng, saying at a meeting of the Tertiary Education Students Conference, TESCON, of the NPP, that he will prioritize NPP members above other Ghanaians, particularly in the provision of jobs. We will hear from these persons shortly, but here's a report on that statement Mr. A.C. Boateng and other leading members of the NPP have made, which seem to be in sharp contrast with President Akufo-Addo's stance.
The New Patriotic Party set an agenda for jobs in 2016 as they campaigned vigorously for a change in government. After winning the mandate to rule, President Akufo-Addo gave strong indications that all Ghanaians, no matter their lineage or political affiliation, fully benefit from state resources.
You have not elected me to serve one party, but to serve the entire nation. The President of Ghana is president for every single Ghanaian, without discrimination, malice, or ill will to any ethnic group or political or religious affiliation. Whether you supported me or not, whether you campaigned for me or not, whether you voted for me or not, I can promise you one thing. I will do my best to serve your interests and put our country back on the path of progress and prosperity.
However, comments from leading members of the NPP seem contrary to what the president has been preaching. Here is Acting General Secretary John Boadu.
There are others that didn't believe that the NPP can deliver. There are others, when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo over the years was saying that there's a need for us to have free SHS. There are others that didn't believe. So if now we are implementing it and there will be one hot meal per school, you want me to give the contract to an NDC person who didn't believe it? No, we will give it to somebody who believes in the program and policy so that we can deliver our objective. That's all that we are talking about. So it is, for instance, the NDC had implemented the school feeding program for some time now. People are complaining about it. Their term of office has ended. The term has ended. So if they are recruiting different caterers, obviously, every people, as we are, we even know how to cook better. You understand? So there's nothing wrong in getting our people to be part of this government program.
And now, George A.C. Boateng, the president's representative in South Africa.
I told my people over there that my first meeting with them, I told them that it is because of NPP that I'm here. So NPP man is my priority. My topmost priority is the problem of an NPP person before any other Ghanaian. Take it or leave it. If I have my way, every job opportunity that will come to go to a TESCON member before any other person. And I know my colleague appointees also have the same feeling. We are all Ghanaians, but some are more Ghanaians than others.
Now, as you heard Mr. A.C. Boateng there, he is of the belief that more appointees of the ruling party feel the same way as the Acting General Secretary suggests. But Acting NPP Chairman Freddie Blay tells Joy News this is not the case. Mr. Blay is insistent the ambassador is being taken out of context.
In such gathering, it's almost like talking to party men and so forth. You may make that. Why not? I love you all. I love you, party men. You made it possible for me to be here, and therefore I'll consider your interest. Definitely. No, he wouldn't say so. I don't think he said first before any Ghanaian.
He says
it doesn't say so.
Be paramount.
It says if he says it doesn't say that other Ghanaians will be ignored. I don't believe that's what he meant, and he wanted to say that. Why not? We will not discriminate, but sometimes we will recognize our own. You can interpret it from several angles. and it is a question of the context and whom you are talking to. If you say Ghanaians, I love you, as human beings, you are good, it doesn't mean you hate Nigerians because you are not Nigerians, and so forth. It depends the context which one will be met and how one will express it. If I express it enthusiastic, TESCOM students about it and say that, look, we're here, we're dealing with Ghanaians issues and so forth. Don't say I don't meet you that often. Don't say I don't like you. Why not? You made it possible for me to hear. If I'm considering everything else, you will be paramount when I'm giving any consideration and so forth. It doesn't mean you discriminate against others. I don't believe this fine gentleman, this man whom I know is a patriot, fair-minded, objective, mean that he will discriminate badly in favor of only and these MPP people, and that he will not consider you if you are not a card-bearing member of our party. I don't believe that's what he meant. It's a question of people who are putting interpretation, explaining, and I'm not surprised. I'm being told that Honorable Okujetu from Parliament.
Of course, he's asking that,
asking that
he jumps off the ship or he's sacked.
I want to hear him again. He should come again.
He should come again?
Why do I say so? Honorable Okujetu was in the previous government, his government. One scenario even looked straight into the face of the wife of now our vice president and called him that he's called her as a bastard, Tampiri, and so forth. Nobody called for the head of scenario.
So we're equalizing
I want to equalize it. I'm saying even then, nobody made any comments on that. There have even been several instances. Well, if you want to condemn that, what he said, it means from your interpretation it is bad. Maybe I won't quarrel with you. I'm saying that that's your interpretation. I wouldn't interpret it from that angle. But please, give me a break. Don't make it look like this is a political issue, that the man has made that comment that he will consider their interests are paramount, and because of that, he has committed a gargantuan sin, and for that matter, you must call for his head. You should find something better to talk about and not this very, very petty issue.
By this, because there have been calls that the leadership of the party must either condemn his comments or ask that he's removed.
You are talking to me.
And you are the acting chairman of the NPP. You are talking to me.
I've expressed my opinion about that. I'm saying that call is uncalled for. I'm saying that I don't even believe that I will go ahead to give an interpretation, that kind of interpretation that he's, or the spin that he's giving to the comments, according to him, that have come from him. And as I said, he was speaking to his TESCOM students. I don't know, and that was because that might be in South Africa. If what he has said was within that context, and unless I read it properly, unless I appreciate what he's saying, and from which angle,
have you had cause to speak to him since this issue came up?
Unfortunately, it is today that I've heard it. I will definitely talk to him. And as I said, I believe he's a fine gentleman.
And what would you say?
He weighs his words before he speaks. And for that reason, I will not hesitate to say that he is not trying to say that other Ghanaians are not more Ghanaians, and that there are more Ghanaians, there are some people who are more Ghanaians than the others. That, I don't believe is what he's saying.
Because this is about the third. Like I said, we've heard from the acting general secretary who said that interest, in terms of contracts, the interest of MPP members or MPP members should be given contracts first before any other Ghanaian.
I was that day,
also say so.
Please, that day I was there. Me, I was chairing the meeting. I don't think that's what John Boadu said.
We all didn't hear right.
Well, maybe you didn't hear right. I wouldn't say you all, but quite a number of people might have heard differently from you. But me, I was there. What he meant, people have been complaining, our party members been complaining that during the MDC time, if you are not a member of a party, they won't give you any contract and so forth. It's our time. You want to say, why not? We will consider your interests. We wouldn't ignore you. We will also look at you when it is, because if you are giving contract to Ghanaians, we will consider you because you are Ghanaians.
Now, Freddie Blair also says the minority in Parliament have no moral grounds to attempt punishing Mr. Isi Boateng, as he likens them to murderers.
Constitution was not promulgated or does not take only effect when we are in power, when MPP is in power.
It does not.
It should apply. It started applying in 1992.
Exactly.
So NDC, when they were in power for 8 years, conveniently forgot about it.
But that's
today,
why
today you are turning around to
power.
no, please.
That's
please.
why they were
today you are only referring to me that there is the chapter 6 of our constitution. I agree, I accept it and I love it. Indeed, that's my favorite chapter in the constitution. And I believe that we've not gone against. The government and Nana Akufo-Addo will not be against the principles contained in chapter 6 of our constitution. He rather will move for it, will ask Ghanaians to stick to it, and his party people to do so. So please, I'm saying NDC doesn't respect it. But they shouldn't be the first person now to jump onto the rooftops with trumpets, making it look like as if we are going foul against that chapter in our constitution. No, it's not so. I deny that we are doing that. I think that's not happening, and therefore I consider the conduct or the attitude of people like Okujetu or those that you think
the minority
talking
actually
about.
he says
the minority, what it is, that is their main concern. If that is their main criticism, I'm sorry, I'll describe that as hypocrisy. But I want them to come up with it, and then we will refer to them what they have done in the past and what their attitude has been in the past that have rendered this country divided. Now, like murderers, like highway robbers, they don't want to now sleep looking up because they think people will cut their throat. No, MPP wouldn't do that. We consider them as brothers, consider them as Ghanaians. We are all Ghanaians. The cakes that dwindled in size while they were there, the resources that dwindled in size that were there, we want to add to it so that we share it amongst all of us equally. So they should rest assured that the government and Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP government will definitely not discriminate against them. They can be assured. But definitely they shouldn't think that there will be preferential treatment in their favor. No.
Freddie Blade there, but members of the NDC are not the only ones making these calls. Now, some Ghanaians in South Africa are saying these comments are divisive and only encourage bickering. We've been joined via Skype by Chairman of Ghanaians in Johannesburg and surrounding areas, Dr. Ellis Ayeyi. Dr. Ayeyi, thank you for your time. Right. So what are your concerns with what Mr. Yebisi Boateng has said?
Well, let me preface this interview by saying that we are a non-partisan, non-sexist association comprising tertiary students and professional bodies in Johannesburg. It did come to our attention that His Excellency made a declaration concerning.
Dr. Ayeyi, unfortunately, it's a bit difficult to hear you. Can you raise your voice, please?
Okay. So His Excellency made a statement in Kumasi in which he stated categorically that his mandate was first to a section of the Ghanaian community, meaning his party. And that certainly adds to the list a little bit too much skewed concerning the fact that the High Commissioner to South Africa, you wonder whether he will be fair to everybody in South Africa when he is actively fulfilling his functions as the High Commissioner.
Well, sir, he is saying, among other things, that he does not necessarily mean that people are more Ghanaian than others, but the reality is that he's been appointed by the president, and so he is an ambassador because the NPP has won power. So it's only natural that he takes this position.
That is true, but he needs to rise above that sectionalism and realize that he belongs to the Ghanaian society at large, and therefore we have a duty to expect a lot more from him than what he will give to other people.
Now, you said in your statements, we implore the President of Ghana and the sector minister at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to clarify what the mandate of the esteemed honorable minister is, and that these utterances mar the reputation of the country. What exactly are you expecting from government?
Certainly, South Africa has one of the largest economies in Africa. And if you have a high commissioner coming in and is going to play a leading role to bring a rapport between the two nations, we expect a lot more. And therefore, his mandate must be clarified. It shouldn't be a section of the Ghanaian community here, so that people will find themselves sidelined when they have other issues to discuss with His Excellency.
So what do you want His Excellency, the President, that is, to do?
Well, I will say that in the past, perhaps he has been at the grassroots level dealing with how to organize the party so that they can assume power. But the time is up for him to rise up and realize that now I belong to the whole of Ghana, and therefore my mandate is for the whole of Ghanaians and not to a political party per se.
There have been calls for the dismissal of Mr. A.C. Boateng. Do you support those calls?
That is the prerogative of the President of the Republic of Ghana. But
if he were to ask you now, what would you say?
I wouldn't push it that far, but then it must be clarified. We all learn. We all make mistakes at times. And therefore, perhaps he needs to be re-educated on his mandate.
You describe in your statement such reckless comments of political leaders create backwardness, nepotism, corrupt officials, and cronyism, creating kakistocratic regimes, meaning that the worst of us, really, people from the lowest section of the public, become leaders. You still want these people in office?
We will grow up. It's important for people in power to know the views of other people in the society. As I said, I'm not affiliated to any political party. But then, my affiliation is to my country. And that comes foremost. And it's important that issues must be addressed properly, confronted head on. Discussions must take place so that we can move forward, champion the cause of Africa if need be.
And you feel the best way to address it is for the president to reprimand Mr. A.C. Boateng?
Well, tell him that he must define the cap he's wearing at all times. If it is for the party, let him state it up front that, yes, at this point in time, I'm not speaking as the High Commissioner for South Africa. I'm speaking as a member of the political party. Then we wouldn't take him to task. Otherwise, we will always find room to take him to task.
Mr. A.C. Boateng referred, and sorry to push this point, but Mr. A.C. Boateng referred in that statement that he has spoken to his people back there, referring to South Africa, that he met with them and said that it used to be Mr. Alpoy who was ambassador, but now it's me because NPP is in power, and so my priority is to persons in the NPP. In your view, was he speaking then as a party official when he was speaking to his people in South Africa, by his words? Was he speaking as an ambassador or as a party individual?
Well, in the context of what was, I think at this point in time, he was speaking as the ambassador. He was speaking as the High Commissioner for South Africa.
And you think he should remain as a High Commissioner, even though he makes statements like that as High Commissioner?
I wouldn't want to push. I wouldn't want to push my luck that far. But then, remember that mistakes can be made.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Elisaye, for your time. He is the chairman of Ghanaians in Johannesburg and other surrounding areas. You're still watching News Desk on Joy News. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take you to the Upper West region where about 40 security personnel are stationed at the Wa Magistrate Court. Stay tuned in.